Hey guys, it's Alex here, and today I've got another tutorial for you, and we'll be going to be using two programs today, which will also be Buju, and we're going to be using After Effects. Now, if you don't have Buju, this tutorial will include motion tracking, so if you don't have Buju, you don't have to get it, because I'm going to show you another option, which is a plugin for After Effects, which is the camera tracker by the Foundry, and it's a lot more inexpensive than Buju. So first of all, what I'm going to be showing you today is the Stro motion effect, or the freeze frame effect. So as you can see, there's these like people that are frozen in time, and as the camera moves, they all stick there. Now I've seen tutorials before, but they've just had a static camera, so this camera hasn't been moving. But with a moving camera, it just brings this whole other element into it, because it just looks really. I think it looks so much better. So let's start. We're going to go to New and make a new project, and you want to double click in your project import set and import your clip, and you want to drag it into its own composition. Now I'm going to find where my clip starts, and I'm going to use the same snowboarding clip. So I'm just going to use page up, page down to go frame by frame until I see the start, which is there, and I'm going to click B to bring our workspace start to that point. Then I'm going to try and find the end, which is about there. So I use page up, page down, and it is there. I'm going to click N, and then we're just going to right click and then trim comp to work area. So now we've just got this clip. Now we're going to want to render this out so we can put it in Buju. So we're going to go to composition, add to render queue, go to our lossless, and we'll make this a QuickTime movie. And then we're going to make our own frame rate. So I'm going to use 29.97, but you can use whatever frame rate you want, but you must remember what frame rate you've used, because we will need that in Buju later. So we're going to click OK, and then we're just going to save it, and I'm just going to override this clip and call it motion tracked clip. I'm just going to click render, and then I'll be back. Actually, I'll probably wait. This will be done in a second. So now it's rendering it out. And the reason I did it 29.97 because it will save time, because it will take less to track because there's less frames to do. And this is just about done. So once this is done, we're going to Buju, and then we will import it and track. Okay, so that's done. So we're going to go to Buju, and we're going to import our sequence. And we're just going to find where we saved it. For me, it's in the tutorial folder. And we're going to click on it, and just throw it, there we go, and then click open. Now at the bottom of this preview box you should see the starting frame and the end frame. Now we want to go to frame rate. This is why I said it was important to remember, and so I use 29.97, but you want to put whatever frame rate you used in that box. I'm going to click apply and then close. So now we've got our clip here, but I usually always seem to get a problem when I use Buju. It's because if I go to setup, edit sequence, it changes the frame rate back, so it messes up the camera, so that it's out of time to the actual clip when I put it back in After Effects. So I just have to rechange it. So just check to make sure, and I'll just put it back to 29.97. Now if I go back to setup, edit sequence, it should be, yeah, that's all fine. So we can scrub through it, and you can see our clip is now in Buju. Now we're going to want to click track features. And this is all fine. You could add more points and stuff, but the default's fine. And we're just going to want to click start. Now this will start tracking through. So as you can see, all these red points, they've locked onto parts of the image, and then they're just going to move and lock. And then this will give us data for the solve, so we can then make our camera. And I'll be back once this is done. Okay, now it's finished tracking. We can see all these red and yellow lines that are all tracked, found points, and they've tracked them. So now next what we're going to do, we're going to click camera and then camera solve, and we're just going to click start. So this is now going to solve all of these points together and create a camera for us, so we can see what's happening. So this will be probably considerably shorter, and we'll see if this will finish anytime soon. So yeah guys, my Buju is not responding. I did say on a previous video the other day that I would give away this template at 200 subs, but I did like the intro too much to give away, so I've used it as my own, which you would have seen at the start of the video. But don't worry, because I've got an even better template for you that will be out when I reach 200 subs. So, and I think it's a really nice template. It's a lot more, it's a bit more advanced. It includes Cinema 4D and stuff. So stay tuned for that. And this is taking longer than I thought it was, so I would pause the video and be back and when it's done. Okay, it's now finished solving, sorry. And to be honest, I shouldn't have used this clip. It isn't the best clip because there's no contrasting areas, so there's it's just mainly white, and I mean Buju couldn't really track onto anything, but we can try and work with it. So I'm just going to add a test object to see how well this is tracked. We just click here. It'll be a ladybird for now, and as you can see, that's actually, it looks alright. That'll probably be alright for now, I think. So that's tracked. So we're just going to try and find a point that looks like it's actually tracked well. So for me, I think that point looks pretty good. So we're going to right click and we're just going to click flag for export. Now we're ready to export this. So we're going to export our camera solve, and we are going to make it a After Effects Maya file, and then remember to check export flags tracks only, otherwise you have thousands of no objects when we get back into After Effects. And we're just going to scale the scene by 100, and we will click save. Okay, now we are ready to go back into After Effects, and we're going to import we're going to go wherever you saved it. Wherever you saved your Buju file, there'll be this Maya file. So we double click on that, and that will make a new composition called motion tracking, or whatever you called it. And you'll see we have this no object and a camera. And now if we drag in our clip like this, I always like to pre-compose my clips, because if you wanted to change something, maybe add something to it, it's always easily done, easily changed, and you won't have to redo everything. So that is quite well tracked. Okay, so that is all for the Buju motion tracking part, and I will do all the compositing and like masking them out and doing all that in the next tutorial. But I'm going to show you a different way of motion tracking. So I'm just going to go back in, I'm going to drag our clip into a new composition. I'm going to call this motion tracking 2. Like that. And I'm going to show you a different way to track, and it's called the Camera Tracker by the Foundry. It's a plugin for After Effects. I'm sure you can find it. So we're just going to type in Camera Tracker, and it is a third-party plugin, so you will have to get it. It doesn't come with After Effects, so you will have to try and find it. But we're just going to drag it onto our clip. Now you want to put it in full res, so the camera tracking can get like the best tracks possible, because it's in the most detail. And in your effects and preset, in your effects controls, you'll see this menu, and it is incredibly simple to use. Literally, just click track features, and it will track forward, and then so it will track all the way forward, and it will track all the way back. So try not to go off of After Effects, because it sometimes stops. And once again, this will take a while, so I will be back once it is done. Okay, it's now finished tracking. So as you can see, it's like Buju. We've got all these little points, and they're all nicely tracked in as well. So the same as Buju, we're just going to now solve the camera. And again, this won't take too long. As you can see, it's working here. And it is nearly done, I think. There you go. So a projection error, 1 pixel is pretty good. If it's more than 1, like say 2, then that's probably a bit of a bad track. But if you can get below 1, then that is a good track. So this is alright. So we're just going to click OK. It's going to set the camera data. And now you see we won't have a camera yet, but we've just got to click Create Scene, and it will set the camera data, and then we should get a null and a camera. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back on our clip and click on the effect, and we're just going to now again look for a point that looks well tracked. So I think that one looks pretty good, or that one. It's hard to see, but yeah, I think one of these here. So we're going to click on them, and then we'll make sure it's selected, and then we're going to go to the menu, and then we're going to go ground plane and set it as origin. And this should So now the null is on that. So now we've got this motion tracked null object. Now I didn't show you how to actually add things on the Buju one, but I'll show you quickly. Say if I just wanted to add some text, because I'm not going to go over the actual effect with the people, because that'll be in the next tutorial. But I'll just show you how you would put some text. So I'll type rubius, and then I'm just going to we'll just move it in the center, and we're just going to make it a 3D layer by clicking the little 3D cube. Now it will disappear, but we're just going to click P for on the null object. We're going to select it and click Control C, and then paste it onto the text by Control V. And we can just scale it down like that, and we can put some rotations, maybe some Y rotation like that, so it matches the scene geometry a bit. And now, as you can see, that is motion tracked into the scene. And it's the same, pretty much the same principle with camera tracker. If we wanted to make some text, and we just I think we should be able to just make it a 3D object, and it automatically goes to the scene, because we've set that null as the origin of the camera, so it knows. Oh, you don't want to move it back in 3D space though. That was a mistake. Actually, no, you might be right. So yeah, so now we should have this 3D text that should be all motion tracked. So as you can see, that's motion tracked. And that is pretty much the tutorial for the motion tracking part, guys. So the compositing tutorial should be on straight after this. So that is how you motion track with these two different methods, and now we're all set up ready for the compositing tutorial. So yep, thanks for watching, and yeah, see you in the next tutorial. Thanks.